to make us homemade from scratch pancakes. So we had to help her look for all the ingredients, but there was one ingredient that we could not find. But I looked into my pantry and I finally found it, but I wasn't quite sure. So my grandmother did to find out if it was the ingredient, but she opened the bag, licked her finger, and tasted it. And it was disgusting, and that's how we knew that it was the ingredient. And the ingredient was flour. I am part of the baking and cooking culture. So flour is made out of wheat flour, malted barley flour, nicotine, iron, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, and pretty much is just a bunch of vitamins mixed with flour. And most of you just think of flour as just maybe an ingredient that you mix into a bowl to make amazing treats. Well, in my family, it's the key finding ingredient that makes the most amazing treats, but it also brings memories and funny stories that are part of my culture. So I've actually been baking since I was 5 with my mom and my grandparents, but I've also worked in a bakery, so I have a lot of experience working in the professional entry. So first I'm going to tell you guys how I use baking to bond with my parents. Then I'm going to tell you all how I use it as a form of meditation. And then third of all, I'm going to just tell you guys how I identify with this certain flour. So I use it as a bonding agent for my parents because, well, one, my mom and I do not always get along. We butt heads a ton, but it was always that one thing, that baking that we had that would bring us together. So during the winter time, or especially during Christmas time, we make cutout sugar cookies, and we would make them one night, freeze them, then bake them the next night, and then the next day we would decorate them, which was 3 days of just happiness and no fighting between us, which really worked out for us. But then also I bond with my dad by making homemade pancakes with him. It was one of the first things that I've ever made with him, and it was the funnest things that we could do. Simply just because flour is just a simple ingredient, it was something that we could do that brought us together. So I just told you all how I use it as a bonding form to bond with my parents. Now I'm going to tell you guys how I use it as a form of meditation. So a lot of you probably do yoga or go hang out with friends or go to the mall and just relax. Well, for me, baking and cooking has always been in my family. So I just walk into the kitchen and I just get like a state, like in the zone of when I'm just baking something. And the best part is when I have something that I'm really proud of that I made or baked, I can share with everyone, especially my friends and my family. I also really enjoy having my friends come over and we'll bake cookies and cupcakes, or we'll just make homemade from scratch pizza, and just being able to share them some of my family recipes and share it with them has been always one of my favorite things to do. So I just told you guys how I use it as a form of meditation. Now I'm going to tell you guys how I identify with this ingredient. So we use this main brand because it just makes our pastries so good, but also it just brings me so many memories when I was younger, just being in the kitchen with my family, especially during Thanksgiving when we were making breakfast or like a big Thanksgiving dinner, and especially during Christmas time when my dad's making pancakes for us in the morning, or especially birthdays when he's making pancakes or making dinners. It just always brought us together. So I just told you guys how I use it as a form to bond with my parents. Second, I told you guys how I use it as a form of meditation. And then third of all, I told you guys how I identify with this product. So flour is not just an ingredient that you just mix in with something and hopefully it comes out right. It's a form where you can just bring people together to make amazing, delicious treats. And then also, to continue that story, she was not the only one who ate the flour. Me and my brother, we didn't believe her that it tasted disgusting, so we tried it when we were younger, and it's disgusting. I do not recommend you guys eating flour. Thank you.